It's the Love of the Game podcast. I'm your host, Madre Allen, and I got the fellas in the building. We are here. I guess since we're on our own platform now, nobody can fire us. Can we get fired on our day off? I mean, shout out to SUV TV. Shout out to our partners. Please don't fire me on my day off. We're trying to make this COVID-19 thing continue to work for us. But it looks like we got everybody in the building. All of our YouTube listeners, please interact with us, share with us. We have a special guest in the building with us today, Coach Dan Evans from North Georgia University. Coach Evans, what's good?
Nothing much, fellas. Thanks for having me.
I'll give you an intro. I ain't giving nobody else one. Especially not Bryce. I ain't giving Bryce until Bryce bandwidth get fixed. You ain't getting no intro, bro. That's how it's going down.
Look, the AT&T man was here like the other day, and I guess it didn't matter. I don't know.
Blame it on the AT&T man.
I'll tell you, boy. I tell you,
his bandwidth was working for that press conference, though.
I did that from my phone.
Hey, so let's go there. Y'all really had a press conference, Bryce? What happened? I didn't get a chance to see.
It's just a joke we have. Like when a kid is about to commit, we call it a press conference, but that actually really turned out to be like a real press conference because like everybody was tweeting on that. So it's just a joke we have in our group chat. Like, oh, press conference means somebody about to commit.
Hey, they be having more press conferences than the president.
Oh,
yo!
I mean, is that?
Hey, look, hold on, wait a minute.
Ours are usually pretty good press conferences, though. I can't speak on that other situation.
Hey, Locke trying to get us shut down for real. Y'all know
the
president
I can get fired on
the
my day off. I know that.
About to say, Locke, know that man on the internet, dog. Don't be saying his name like that, Locke. He like Candyman.
Right, we'll find
you. So, Coach, we wanted to have you on the show, man, and show some love to the program. North Georgia University, definitely a program that's on the rise. Y'all making some noise out here. But Coach, I wouldn't be me. This wouldn't be our show if we didn't try to start some stuff on the show while you were here. So let's get to the smoke. Coach, do you or do you not have one of the best facilities in the state of Georgia, regardless of division? Let's go.
I mean, it's really legitimate. I mean, it is a big time place, and I think the atmosphere at our building, honestly, it got better over the course of the year, and by the end, I felt really good about it. And I think the energy of our players and their connection with the campus always helps that. But man, the space, and when you walk up to that thing and you're in it, I mean, it's huge. You know, it's huge, and it's just a fantastic. It's big, but not overwhelming. You know, it's
sure.
Energy and life, and honestly, our pep band's unbelievable and really fills that place with noise and helps everybody. So it is. I honestly have not seen every building yet in the state, but it is really nice. It is very
well.
Nice.
I'll brag for you. It is one of the best. I will. I guess it doesn't hurt that you get a couple of high school events there throughout the year. If I'm not mistaken, you get a Final Four from one of the classifications there.
I think we had it our first year and didn't necessarily have it this year. But, I mean, it's like when you get people in there, I mean, I can't even tell you how many people from all over, you know, they get on campus, let alone the arena, and people are still learning about it. I know we're a different school. We've grown tremendously, you know, over the last, you know, really since the consolidation. And, I mean, people are blown away, as I was walking on campus, to be honest.
Man, let's talk about that, Coach. So you were hired just last year. This time last year, as a matter of fact. So not even like early. You came in, your situation a lot like the Kennesaw State situation. We're hiring Coach Abdul Rahim kind of late in the cycle. You got hired. Was it this week last year?
I think I got offered the job today, 1 year ago today. It was Friday of
Wow.
for last year. I think it had to be. Yeah, I bet it was literally 1 year ago today. I got offered the job. I was up in Minneapolis at the Final Four and hanging out with friends and whatnot. And I honestly flew straight to Minneapolis from Atlanta, after the interview.
Wow. So let's walk through that. You get offered a position. Is this late in a kind of recruiting cycle? And you got to put a staff together. What was that? What was that situation like? Was it an easy conversation at home first to say, "Hey, we're moving to Georgia"?
Anytime you can move your wife and your 3 and 1 year olds further away from all their family, everyone bored immediately. You know what I mean? There's not even a lot of conversations that need to happen. No, we knew. I mean, we knew. My wife, honestly, is the one who saw the job posting. I mean, we had done a lot of good things at Ohio Dominican, my last job, and really had taken a program that had won very few games in the couple years before we arrived, and we won a championship. We won 20 games. We sustained that success, and we had 2 first-team all-league kids coming back, a big kid and a scoring guard, and it wasn't like we felt like, oh man, we got to run from something, or we got to try to make this huge shift in our life. But we also felt like if it made sense, our kids were young enough, that the move wasn't going to be a big effect to their day-to-day and what they knew. And my wife saw the posting. I think it was a Hoop Dirt posting or something like that. I think we'd really be happy there. I think we'd like it. I think we'd have fun. And we just kind of went with it. I mean, I applied. I hate to say this, I didn't know anybody necessarily in the athletic department. It wasn't like, I had all these connections. It was just, it fit my culture, fit who I want to be as a program, who I am as a person, fit for our administration and our AD, Mrs. Reeves. And, I couldn't be happier. I mean, we just got really lucky, and it all happened pretty fast. I mean, it all happened pretty fast. Once we kind of went down the road, it happened pretty fast.
So you're telling me your wife is a follower of Hoop Dirt?
Hey, the best agent
Laura,
he's ever
you
had.
can't help it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Best agent he's ever had.
He takes a bigger commission than any agent in the country.
For sure. So Coach, you get offered the job. You've had success at the D2 level, so you're not a stranger to that. But you get offered the job, and you roll up on campus, and you get a chance to, I'm assuming, work out those players and things like that. Did you know that KJ Jenkins was KJ immediately, or was this something that kind of popped out at practice afterwards?
It was more in the fall, I have to admit, because when I got here, whenever stuff was sort of finalized, I got down here and I ended up spending literally 2 total hours with our players on the floor. I had a Thursday morning and a Friday morning workout before we go dead. It is a week ahead of finals. And so I didn't get to see much, to be honest. I mean, even our guys in the workout, they would admit, like, we weren't able to do that much. It was just me. It was at 6 a.m. We were in the middle of a rainstorm. I mean, it was not, not perfect conditions for anybody to do much, but it didn't take long in the fall, certainly, to have a sense of the way he scores the ball, his just knack when the ball's in his hands of getting it in the hoop. And for any young guy, there's a huge learning curve at the college level. It doesn't matter where you go or what sort of strata of college basketball you end up in. Like, it is really difficult, and only the toughest and the best can walk in and really perform at a high level. We don't get them in the summer, so it's not like, I think some guys that go to the Division I world, they do have a little bit of acclimation period. They get around it for that time in the summer more often, but it's hard for them. And for our kids, it's tough, but he is gifted, man. He is gifted. I wish I'd had that ability to put the ball in the hoop. I mean, it's a knack for him.
Man, I've seen him score the ball. It seems like every kind of way that you could score it. Floaters in the lane, three balls, step back threes, like kind of however you want it. But I was surprised at his ability to handle and pass the ball and create for other people. Like you've got a couple of guards between him and Ephraim and the Cottrell kid that can really shoot it, that can really play. What how was it getting those guys, because you give your guards so much freedom and ability to create and for themselves and for other people. How was it getting those guys to kind of gel early?
You know, I thought our guys did a really good job from day one, to be honest with you. I mean, I think they all accepted myself and Coach Blake and Coach Burnett. I don't think we had as difficult a transition in terms of like teaching and absorbing those things, particularly offensively, as maybe I expected, to be honest. I mean, you never know what you don't know everybody in and out when you walk through the door, and we didn't have a lot of trouble. I think KJ hadn't played yet, so those sort of getting on the floor for the first time is always different, translating the things you do. I mean, we all know it. I mean, there's guys that are great practice players, but when you walk between the lines, like it's a different thing, and getting comfortable in that rhythm and all that stuff. Now we do, you saw, we do give our guards a lot of freedom. I mean, there's a lot of ability for them to create and make plays and make the right decisions. And all those guys named, along with Darnell Snyers, who's a kid from Belgium, who had redshirted last year. Zez Steeple, our other senior, and Mikhail Bethea played a little bit in the backcourt. I mean, all those guys, I think, had different moments of handling it better or worse as any season plays out. But I think they understood the difference between scoring it and passing it, and really, we did a really good job. And I think KJ's ability to just flat out put it in the basket helps everybody as he got more comfortable, gave space on the floor for someone like Ephraim. And it was fun to see him work together. Now we were small, we're playing 5'11" and 6 foot kind of across the board, 1 through 3, which is maybe not ideally what we're able to do in the Peach Belt, but our kids were tough up and battled and found their way as well as we could, and at times played really well, to be honest.
So I want to talk more about Ephraim. I know Mondre loves KJ, but I love Ephraim. I've loved him since he was a senior in high school. At that point, Ephraim will tell you, I tried to recruit him to Alcorn State back in the day. So tell us a little bit more about him and what he meant to your team.
He was like, we do a particular sort of voting style for captain, and you have to achieve a certain amount of points, and you essentially rank your teammates. We had 13 or 14 at that point. 14, or 13 because you can't vote for yourself is like the most points you can have, down to 1, obviously. Most deserving to least deserving. And he was unanimous. I mean, he was unanimous to be, the number 1 choice for everybody. Ended up being our only captain the way that the system works. And he's so tough. I mean, he is so tough. And he is a day-to-day guy. Like you wouldn't know what the circumstance was. You wouldn't know everything else that's going on in his life, good, bad, and different. You wouldn't know how his day at class was. When you got to practice, you got to the weight room, that dude just brought it. And he is physically really gifted, and his feel for the game, and particularly defensively, really good. And so he was really a rock for us. And we probably relied on him too much. Like everybody with their good players, we're probably putting too much on his shoulders. But his ability to handle the ball, play off the ball, slash with it in his hands, and obviously his ability to guard. He was the defensive player of the year in the league, and frankly, we weren't particularly good defensively, but he was unbelievable. And we're gonna miss him. We're gonna miss him and who he is and what he's about. And honestly, all that kind of sits behind the fact that he's a great kid.
Yeah.
Someone who's worked his tail off, and it's not like he's had every advantage in life. He hasn't had everything available to him throughout his life, and he's just worked to get where he is, and he's earned everything that he's been given.
His toughness was definitely something I liked back in the day, and just listening to you talk about him is one of those aspects that we talk about a lot on this show, about choosing the right school, the right level for you where you can be successful. And Ephraim has definitely been successful there at North Georgia. I think he even set a record for you guys too. Maybe steals, I think, or
I believe he has the all-time steals record, steals in a season. I think this year, I probably should know this stuff better, but I think, he was like third in the country this year or something like that in steals per game. He ended up with like 1,000 points for his, or over 1,000 points for his career, over 500 rebounds, over 250 steals and assists or something. I mean, he has some crazy, like, you add him up and he does a little bit of everything, and he's just such a worker that, like, he doesn't really get tired. He doesn't really want to come out. And frankly, when you have a senior, like, that's what you need. That's what you want. You want a guy that can carry that load, because there's ebbs and flows of the year. And I think he missed one game because we held him out because he had the flu and, just one of those kind of medical deals. But I mean, man, that guy's always ready to go. And he is someone any program would want, what I mean? That kind of kid, and certainly his caliber of player any program would want.
Yeah.
Coach, I would love to understand just your overall, like, philosophy and the type of kid that you feel like fits well in your program. Let's talk a little bit about that philosophy and what it was early on that you were trying to make sure that guys got on the same page with you about.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is just defensive consistency, raising the ceiling of us defensively and being able to do that more consistently. We were better early defensively than I think as it went along. We down and wore out a little bit on that end of the floor. But, the most consistent indicator really at any level in any league is, your defensive statistics. Whether you use efficiency numbers or you use the good old field goal percentage D from overall and 3-point. I mean, those things dictate and determine championship caliber teams. You cannot be a high level team in any league or any level in the world without defending at a high level. So that was a big thing for us, is establishing that identity and that commitment. Even if we weren't always great at it, I do think we embraced that and embraced the effort. And so probably worked defensively far more than we did offensively this particular year for that reason. We just had a little bit further journey in that front. Interestingly, we were a much better offensive team than defensive team, which, is somewhat ironic given the amount of time we put in. But I think being clear on that was important to us. The second thing is we're a program that wants people to develop and really demands that people develop. And that applies on the floor, that applies in the classroom and personal life and our connection with the community. I mean, it's really important for us that when anybody walks out of our program, they're with us for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, whatever it is, that without a shadow of a doubt, they're better off. We've helped them, they've helped themselves, and they've taken as much as they can from our university. And obviously a big part for everybody we recruit is just the basketball, just being a better player, which is obvious, I think, to everybody. But it's really about a lot more than that. And our guys took to that really well. We had a lot of that in place, and our department does a great job of much of that. So it wasn't like some crazy change, I think, for our players. But I do think the overall emphasis on being great at everything and doing everything right and well is always a challenge for guys when it comes to them.
So, Coach, that brings me to another question. You got the job, the time period it was. Your assistant, great guy, but he's not a Georgia guy. So how does that impact you recruiting Georgia, or did it impact you recruiting Georgia? How did you guys get involved in the landscape of recruiting Georgia?
I mean, I'm sure it impacted us. You know what I mean? There's always an element of, if you're not from a place, and neither of us are, there's always an element of you're not going to have built-in relationships and years of that kind of backstory with everybody. But I think when you're genuine and you care and you're interested and you demonstrate that and you remain committed to that, everybody on this, all of you and the dozens of other folks we deal with, everybody wants the same thing, right? They want their guys to go to good places for the right kind of people and have an opportunity to get better. And because I'm from suburban Chicago and was in Columbus, Ohio, I don't think it changes what people ultimately want, for their young people. Now, are there going to be people we can't get over the top with now, today, meaning, early in our time? Probably, probably. We've certainly been close on a couple of guys that we felt like, frankly, we had support of the people around them, and it didn't quite go for us. But the reality is, like, we are going to provide a tremendous experience, and I don't think it's going to take long for people, and I don't think it has taken long for people to see what we're about, see what we care about. And in terms of getting started, it was really, it's important to us. Recruiting the state of Georgia, recruiting Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, it's important to us. And we make an effort and we do our best. And does that mean we're going to recruit every kid? No. Does it mean we'll make mistakes? 100% we will. But we're going to mean well, and we're going to do our homework, and we're going to work our butt off. And I think whether it happens immediately or it takes time, ultimately you break through and people can get behind that. And it doesn't take long for someone to be on our campus to realize whether they think we're perfect as a staff, like what our university has to offer, what our program has to offer is tremendous. And I don't think that's hard to figure out for people.
Well, Coach,
Coach,
go ahead, Locke.
No, so I know we was talking about he just got to pick a commitment from Ryan Landers. So I want to know what stood out to him. What stood out to your coaching staff to just start recruiting Ryan, and what type of impact you think he will have in your program?
We are, given the coronavirus and all this craziness and the reason we're all in here, we're in a dead period for NLIs and scholarship agreement. And so I will talk generally about what we're looking for. We cannot actually talk specifically about any guy who's not signed. We want tough people. We want people with high ceilings, and we want people that are multifaceted, and the reality is our perimeter players, we want them to be able to handle it, shoot it, and pass it. And everybody comes, to us or to anybody with different levels in each of those columns. But the belief that they want to be better at them and that they're going to be better at them is really important to us. There's always a sense of what will this person bring that we need, and our returners, we, especially long haul, not so much like, hey, tomorrow, but particularly when you look 2 to 3 to 4 years in terms of a cycle, we know we need athleticism at the wing. We know we need size at the wing. And I think we were aggressive to get those things with throughout the class. And, we have 2 young men signed, and obviously we'll have somebody joining them as well that I think provide a lot of those things to us. And we want good people. I mean, I know our sport is unique, but I don't really want to be chasing people to class. I don't really want to be laying awake at night, worried about, my kids' well-being, relying on somebody who's not mature enough to make quality decisions, understand the sort of impact of those decisions. None of us are angels. None of us are perfect. Certainly not at 17. I wasn't 18, 20. You keep going. It's the ability to recognize, the value to the group, and the ability to recognize that, hey, I'm not this for me. This isn't just about me and what I want, what I'm going to do. It's about, hey, what's best for us, and how do we get there? And I think guys that we have signed and committed, I think represent all those things.
Coach, I kind of wanted to talk about, you and I have had this conversation, but talk to the people about, I don't want to call it tough because it's not tough because you're getting it done, but the level of importance of academics at North Georgia, which dictates the kind of kids that you have to recruit.
No doubt. And I think it was important to me to when I decided to make a change or decided I was open to it, it was important to me to go to a place that valued, the academic performance of their student athletes. And that is not so much about a standard or a high academic in the sort of traditional sense, but just more about, look, we care. It's important to us. We have programs in place to help people who maybe are struggling, and we honor those that are doing it really well. That was very important to me. And North Georgia absolutely has that. We do have standards. They are called legitimate, admission standards. We do have to look thoroughly at transcripts, and we do need to recruit the right kid in terms of a profile. But the big thing for us is this is a place where somebody's going to have an opportunity. And that was the second part of it. Is I wanted to go to a place that had good majors, has strong programs, has the tools to help people in the process of pursuing those degrees. And part of going to college, whether you're an athlete or not an athlete, is you better take everything you can from that place. Like you either pay for it or someone pays for you to go to it, whether you get a scholarship or you don't get a scholarship. If you just go to class and you just turn in your homework and that's all you do, you're going to end up with a degree, hopefully. It's going to be a piece of paper. It goes on your wall. That's great. But everywhere you go, no matter the level, like you have a chance to take from that place. You have a chance to meet people that can help you. You have a chance to build relationships. You have a chance, as much as you're able, given whatever schedule you got to keep, to be in some extracurriculars, to be a part of things. And, I don't want anyone to leave our program and feel like, I played basketball and I had good friends and that's about all I did. Because we've done that young man a disservice if that's all we're doing. And it didn't take long here to realize that while we do keep, our guys are busy. There's a lot of workouts, there's a lot of lifts, there's a lot of a fair amount of travel, not crazy, a fair amount of travel. There's a lot of things that we need them to do. But trust me, part of what they need to do is to be involved and to be present and to have those experiences. And when I took the job, I recognized that stuff, and that stuff's all been true. But what you said, Coach Huff, is true. Like you're not going to come here and skate and do well. That's not what this place is. But the reality is that's not what successful basketball players do. They don't do that. There are guys that are talented enough to get by, but there isn't anybody achieving their ceiling by skating, by sleeping in, by being lackadaisical. And if you're willing to be lackadaisical in the classroom, odds are you're willing to not run as hard in a sprint. You're willing to, show up 2 minutes early to lifting instead of 5 minutes early so you're ready, or 10 minutes, And so all that stuff ties in.
Coach,
ahead,
I want to get to the smoke of the matter, Coach. There's a lot of kids out there when it comes to committing to a Division II school, or anywhere outside of Division I, I should say. It's a lot of kids that feel like if I go D2, I'm admitting that I can't be a pro. We know that that's not true, but I would love to hear you talk about kids that you've been involved with or that you've seen that go that route and still are able to play at the next level.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think now when you're talking, if you're a guy, obviously, that is an NBA guy or like legitimately is like, that's what perhaps is in my future. I probably wouldn't come to North Georgia, no offense. I mean, I'd love to have dudes that have NBA potential. And there are Division II guys that by the time they're done, that's what they have and that's what they achieve. But, that's a different thing. When you're talking about having a career in Europe, and you're having a career, whether it be D League and finding your way through that, Asia obviously has tremendous leagues and leagues that pay really well. There's leagues all over the world. There are tons of Division II players in those leagues. And the reality is you at times, not every case, but you at times learn things being at our level where we have a lot to provide, but still the best players are self-starters, and I think it's true any level, but especially I think as you go down the ranks, those guys have great careers. I mean, I've coached, I've been coaching Division II basketball. I've been in coaching this was, I think, my 13th or 14th year. And I mean, I think I have 9 guys that have played overseas for some amount of time, and multiple of those getting 5, 6, 7. I think one of our big kids from my early time as an assistant, I think might be on like year 11, and like you can do it. These leagues, they want guys that can play. They care to some degree about, hey, this is the school that's on your bio. But what they really care about is when you show up and they pay you a check. Hopefully they pay you if you're in the right league. when they pay you a check, that you've earned that. Because if you don't earn it, whatever school you have behind your name, you know what they do? They pack your bags for you. They take away the keys to your car. They lock up your apartment, and they get you a plane ticket. And within 6 hours, you got to be on that plane. And you show back up to the States, and you probably wear your European jersey around to pickups and talk about how you.
Hey, he sounded like Mark last week, didn't he?
You get to Power Fives and you get to certain levels, and that's a different beast. There's no doubt about it. And there's a bunch of great programs at all levels. But it's all about finding a place that's going to help you be as good as you can be, that you fit in so that you can be your best. That you want to be your best. And what helps you do that, we got to buy into as coaches, and coaches got to buy into for them, and people around them have to buy into that. And I don't think I think it's pretty rare. It happens, but it's pretty rare that people around these young people really want to see them fail or really want to put their own agenda out of it. I think what happens more often is it's lack of experience, wisdom, not ignorance, unintentional, but they just don't know. They just don't know that to be a good player in the Peach Belt. Guess what? When you're a junior, you're probably a Division I caliber player in the
For sure.
Facts.
So that brings me to another question, Coach. You were so successful in Ohio, and you come down to the Peach Belt. Tell me what you saw once you got in this conference.
I mean, it's a really good league, man. It's a big boy, grown up league. There's probably good teams all over the country in all sorts of leagues, but there's about 5 or 6 leagues in the country that are like what we have. You know what I mean? And you've got to be physical. You've got to be tough, both physically and mentally. You have to be able to withstand different styles of play. You got to be able to withstand the kind of mental wherewithal. I mean, we play Wednesday, Saturday, and it's like you're preparing for Wednesday, and you kind of feel like you're set, and then you peek ahead, and you're like, all right, what's coming? It's like, wait, that's coming again? Like what's going on? And they may play a different way. Their personnel may be different. All that stuff. I mean, it's a big boy league. I think people all over the country say this, and I do believe it's like for high school kids to go see college basketball at different levels, it is mind-blowing, I think, for them. And I think there are guys good enough to play in our league all over this state. There's no doubt about it in terms of size and athleticism and ability. But when you tack on the mental and the physical toll you have to be able to withstand and give out, it's hard, man. And I think if you went to see Emory play, and you went to see a Peach Belt game, and you went to see a Conference Carolinas game, and you go obviously to the Southern D1 leagues, and obviously you go right all the way up. Every league is good, I think. Every level is good, and every level is like, wow, I got to be pretty good to play at Emory. I got to be pretty darn good to play at Emory. And I think you go right up the ladder you come to North Georgia. We did this Wednesday night, I think we call it Wednesday Night Lights, where we brought in kind of small groups of high school guys, and we're allowed one tryout with them. And so we did it on Wednesday night. We'd have 3, 4, 5 guys, depending on the night, and they would essentially be in a practice with us using one of our hours that we have in the preseason. And I'm talking about good players, guys that end up having great high school years and all this stuff. And I walked off the floor a few times. It was just like, this guy, he's good. I'm sure he's good, but he's 3 years away.
Yeah.
Then you walk out, and we had some guys commit that ultimately were here, and you walk out guys that less heralded. I'm not sure what the right word is, and you'd be like, man, this guy's more ready in my team, and whatever that may be. And so I think being here in this league, it reminds me when I first got into Division II, we had 2 schools up north. That were, one of them was 32, ended up 32-1 and got beat in the Elite 8 or some Final 4 or something like that. And the second best team in our league was a really good team that ended up winning the national title the next year. And they were both in our league, and we're getting ready and we're watching exhibition season, and one of them beats Michigan State and one of them beats Ohio State. And I'm looking over at Coach. I'm 23 years old, I'm looking over at Coach what the hell did we just get into? I've seen us practice. Like, what are we getting into? But that's what it's like. That's what it's like. You got great teams in our league, and you got established programs. That's the other element of it. You got places that have consistent success and a clear identity. And we'll fight like hell. And I think we've made a lot of progress already, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's no joke. I mean, it's no joke.
I know you can't talk about it, Coach, but I'm so excited to see Ryan Landers and KJ in their backcourt together, man. I'm telling you, Coach. As soon as they sign, Coach, we're gonna call you back and we'll talk about it then. But man, I'm ready to see that backcourt, man. Y'all could have one of the better backcourts in the Peach Belt.
Yeah,
I'm optimistic about where we're headed.
I would be too.
We got to work. Now, let's not kid ourselves. There's not a guy who signs on that dotted line whenever he signs who's made it. I mean,
sure.
We got to go to work, and we will. I have no doubt. That's part of the reason I love our guys.
Absolutely.
I love your guys' confidence. Hell, I'm doing that every week. I anxiety.
You know about Georgia guys. You know about Georgia players.
Good.
Hey,
I mean, he's really good though.
Ryan Landers gonna hoop, bro.
Yeah,
Ryan Landers gonna hoop for sure. Man, I want to do something. Have you guys been able to watch since we've been on quarantine, CBS Network at all? Like over the last few days, CBS Network has been showing a lot of the old college games.
Yep.
And I had a lot of takeaways from what I saw. Number one, college basketball used to be so fire. Oh my God. College basketball used to be so much fun. And I want to bring it back to that. I feel like we have to bring the spotlight back to college basketball. We got to make college basketball fun again.
You know what? I don't mean to cut you off, but a game was really good that like I completely forgot about was that Memphis and Kansas national championship.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
That was with Derrick
Rose.
Yeah. Chalmers.
Yep.
That was a good game.
I was watching Georgetown, North Carolina. I think it was 83. Watching Michael Jordan as a young. Hey, boy, MJ. I felt so bad for Patrick Ewing. It took Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Jimmy Black, all on the same team to beat Patrick Ewing by 2. I felt so bad for Pat.
But do you know what Pat did the next year?
I mean, wait, that's the year that they won it, and the year after that is the Villanova miracle.
Or was that
Houston? Pinckney's year?
I got to go back and watch. Oh,
I
man,
gotta go back. I was just tripping on the fact of how much talent there was on the floor. But I want to do something.
I mean, Jordan's not even their best player. Think about that.
James Worthy is, right?
Jordan's like a kid. And
Sam Perkins is on that team.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hearing Sam Perkins in the championship post-game presser talking about with a smile and a smirk on his face, like, yeah, I just contained Patrick Ewing. Like, boy, if you don't get, hey, boy.
But you're talking about NBA pros on all these teams, man. Like,
man, loaded with talent, bro.
Hey, man, so I know you want to get to something, but it was just like I think I retweeted this clip. I'm a Georgia guy, so I'm a Georgia Tech guy. I love when Paul Hewitt took that team to the championship game. When they played Oklahoma State in the semifinals, Oklahoma State hits the bucket. John Lucas is going crazy because the game is tied. They come down and they run the play, and Will Bynum comes off the ball screen, hesitation, gets to the bucket, scores the layup. I mean,
Chicago boy.
Yeah, Chicago boy.
Yeah.
You're not going to talk about when Louisville beat them to go to the Final Four, are you? the year we ended up losing to, I think we lost to University of Illinois that year when they had Darren Williams and Whitehead and those guys, D Brown.
Yeah.
When they had them dudes, that's when we lost to Illinois. But we did beat Georgia Tech that year.
Oh, man, here we go, bye.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just.
Hey, what happened this year? Okay.
Ooh.
Shout out to Josh Passon. They took y'all down when y'all came down here. I was at the game.
You know what?
I tried to get Locke to come to the game, but he was a little busy that night.
I wanted
There
to
you
go.
I knew you were gonna bring it up.
I wanted to
I was
go.
saying in my head, that's the game I'm supposed to went to.
So, fellas, let's do this real quick. What is the best or your favorite college basketball team ever? Best or favorite? Best you've ever seen, or just your personal favorite college basketball team of all time?
I can tell you my favorite. Yeah, my favorite was Lethal Weapon 3. Like watching, as a Georgia guy, Atlanta guy, watching Brian Oliver, Dennis Scott, and Kenny Anderson. I mean, oh wow. Like those moves he had, that was my best team. And to realize Bobby Crimmins only played 6 guys, and they would still be scoring buckets. Like it was amazing, man. That was my team.
Hey, if you try a 6-man rotation nowadays, everybody is transferring. Everybody.
Everybody.
hitting the portal, coach.
Yep.
What y'all got?
You should know who my team is already. Man, it shouldn't even be
Some Maryland team. Is it
Juan Dixon?
Juan Dixon?
Juan Dixon.
Is it Juan Dixon?
Of course. And he came to Atlanta and he cooked. He put on a show. Juan Dixon.
I cannot.
02 national championship team.
That was Juan Dixon, Steve Blake.
Yep. Chris Wilcox, I think.
Chris Wilcox. Yeah. That was a good team.
Man, yeah.
That was a good team.
My favorite team,
Steve Blake had a long career.
With Anthony Davis, Marcus Teague at the point guard. Yeah, Terrence Jones, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
I cannot believe he's naming a Kentucky team. Locke.
Man, this sounds like Marcus Spivey, not Locke right now.
He named Kidd-Gilchrist. Like,
hey, hold on. And you named the Kentucky team, and you didn't even name the best Kentucky team.
Who's the best Kentucky team, Mondre?
The best Kentucky team of all time is the 96 Kentucky team.
That like with Tony Delk,
Derek Anderson. Bro. 96 Kentucky is my second favorite college basketball team of all time. Yeah. And I hate them, so that's saying a lot.
So didn't they have like 11 dudes that played in the NBA? Like when it all shook out, they had like 11 guys that played.
I think so.
They did. They had 11 NBA guys on one team, bro. Like
now my other favorite team. I've got 2 other favorites. Has to be UNLV. Larry
UNLV
Johnson,
90, baby.
Stacey Augmon, Anderson Hunt, Greg Anthony. Man.
UNLV 90 was like, yo, we're not even going to play home games. We're just going to tour the country and beat you by 30.
You said 90?
90. Yeah, UNLV 90, bro. We're going to – hey, they put on a college basketball tour. Like, we're going to go across the country. We're going to play you at your home gym. We're going to beat you by 30.
I gotta go on YouTube for that because 90, that was
I think my favorite team, I gotta go back to when I was a kid. That's more nostalgia. The Carolina team that won the national title when Weber called the timeout.
Woo!
Good team. For some reason, I love North Carolina. No idea why, but love North Carolina. I just thought George Lynch was just
George Lynch. Okay.
Derek Phelps and Montrose, and they had they have Donald Williams. I mean, they just something about that team. To this day, like, man, I got a soft spot for him.
I thought George Lynch was going to get a ring in the NBA when he was with
Philly. He was with Philly, yeah.
And
he started it, man. Hey, man, I know we on colleges, but think about that team now. We talk about LeBron and what he took to the championships and all. What AI took to that championship.
Fam.
Aaron McKee, Dikembe.
Speaking of AI,
Tyrone Hill, Jermaine Jones, George Lynch, a bunch of lunch pail guys now.
Yeah.
The Georgetown team with AI at the point came on TV as well when they lost to UConn. I think they were going against Khalid El-Amin, something like that. But that Georgetown
Ray Allen, wasn't it?
Against Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, yeah.
Ray Allen. That Georgetown team was tough. I was just watching that guy like, wow.
I got one more team now.
AI caught a tip dunk in that game, didn't he, on somebody's neck?
Yes.
Yeah, he was good, man.
Hey man, you could, hey bro.
Ray Allen was good too.
Man, one team y'all sleep on and nobody ever talks about is that Florida team. What Billy Donovan had with that team? Al Horford, Joakim Noah.
Oh yeah.
Hey bro, I'm with you on that. They are good. I'm 100%
Man, what
not
are you
taking
about to
anything
say?
away from them. I'm just gonna say that I watched the game today against them in Ohio State, and Greg Oden was smoking them, bro. Like
Greg Oden was a beast.
down there, drop step,
He
dunking,
got hurt.
like, bro, that dude
And
goes
Florida
down.
still won because that game was in Atlanta. I was there.
How about the team that Florida team had to beat like a UCLA team that had like four dudes that are like all-stars at the NBA?
Yeah.
For sure.
It's insane. That was the semi. That wasn't even the final, I don't think.
Right. Get Lewis Preston to talk about that Florida team. He was on the staff.
Stroud taking 96 Kentucky as the best team ever. Stroud, I think you close, bro.
Is it Brandon Stroud that? Or is it somebody else? Never mind.
It's to me for the best college basketball team ever. It's 96 Kentucky. It's UNLV 90 as the best team, then 96 Kentucky, then the 2000 Duke team. I think that would be my 1, 2, 3 as the best teams college basketball teams I ever saw play.
2000.
And I'm a Louisville fan, and I'm not even putting 2013 or 2013. Man, come on, bro. Y'all hating. Are we really gonna hate on the 86 Louisville team though? Y'all gonna hate on the 86 team?
Never Nervous Purvis?
I'm saying. It's all right. That's all right. See how they do me, coach? That's what I got to deal with.
So here's the biggest question. We talked about our best teams. Who was the NCAA team that disappointed you the most? Like they got to the tournament and you were just like, they at least got to the championship though. Like,
yeah, they did. They did. I got to think about that one.
Yeah,
who was nice?
There was a team at Carolina. I'm going back to Carolina. Didn't Rasheed Wallace in his Carolina team, and he had another great player with him. That's
was it Stackhouse?
Stackhouse. He had beaten like the first round of like Boston College or second round of Boston College or something like that.
They might have.
I think they did. I feel like they did. Whoever they had one year where I was like, these guys are just.
I got to get on the research now.
And Jerry Stackhouse were so nasty.
Yes,
but obviously, and they didn't get real far one year. That was the one I remember was just like, dang, this sucks.
Man, I feel bad. Kids nowadays, there's a lot of people that coming through could really hoop, and kids today won't respect them as much as they should. I think Jerry Stackhouse is one of those people. Like, I don't think kids really understand how cold Jerry Stackhouse really was. Like at his time, like that dude.
They
even going to the league was like
class not too long ago too. He was in the dunk contest. I think he won, didn't he? I'm not sure. But yeah, he was tough.
I don't want to call that KD team a disappointment, but man, KD was in Texas was giving out 30 and 20.
They had a good team though. Didn't
they lose in the first or second round?
I think they lost in the first round. KD was giving out KD was putting up video game numbers in college, man. Hey, one thing I do want to say though, let's have this conversation.
Hold on. My team was that Georgia Tech team. I'm sorry, James Forrest, that lost to Southern and Ben Joe in the first round of 4 versus 13. Travis Best, Drew Berry, and James Forrest lost in the first round. I'm
not saying anything bad about James Forrest because he's a really big dude.
I love you, James, but I just had to. I mean, it was a year. Was it the year after you hit the big shot versus USC? And we were expecting big things from you, GT. Come on, James.
Didn't happen, but I'm not gonna be the one to say it because James Forrest a big dude. I don't want no smoke. Hey, so I want to talk to every player out there that says, I want to play the wing. Let's have a conversation to every player in America right now that says, I want to play the wing. Do y'all realize what KD, if anybody has a reason to say, I want to play the wing, coach, I don't want to play down low, it would be KD. I got to go pull up KD's numbers in college. KD was giving out video game numbers, 35, 28.
They haven't seen KD at Texas, most of these kids, though, probably.
Yeah,
they don't even know that.
They don't even know the OKC KD with him and James Harden and Russell Westbrook.
They probably haven't seen.
They don't watch college basketball, man.
They watch it. I don't watch it and really learn and watch the game and dissect the game. They're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it for entertainment. And hopefully, oh man, I got to get to that level one day. Just, they don't really watch it for what you're probably watching it for, which is maybe you can pick up a set or a play or something like that or whatever. I don't think they watch it like that.
I'm pulling up KD's numbers. He averaged 12 rebounds a game, bro.
I watched, I think it was KD, I think it was that Texas team against Kansas in the Big 12 finals, one of those CBS Sports Network, type of deals, just the last couple of weeks. And man, even in that game, there are so many good players and so many experienced guys that ended up being, particularly on that Kansas team, that ended up being like great role guys in the NBA. We're never like for any team they probably played for. And KD is just like, he is just killing everybody. I mean, it's like he's 18 years old, 19, and he is just destroying everybody every time he touches the ball. It was insane.
I was watching that KD game on TV as well, and I was like, DJ Augustine actually made a really good career out of his situation.
He had a good career in the NBA.
Yeah, isn't he? I mean, he's still in the league, right?
Still in the league,
yeah. I mean, to be his size and to be able to still be in his league at this time, that's like phenomenal. Actually, to me, that's the one thing I kind of pointed out was like, dang, he was playing well in that game with KD, and then he's still in the NBA. Like that's pretty big.
Man, I'll give you like we're talking about these games, and I'm talking about Kansas. Coach Evans, you brought up Kansas, and Nick Collison at Kansas was a beast.
Oh yeah,
and he goes to the NBA. And he's a role player.
Yeah,
like that's another thing that high school players don't understand. Like each level is a progression. You could be the dude at your high school team and be a piece at college, and then you get to the NBA and you could be the man on your college team, and now you just a role player. Udonis Haslam from Florida is another one.
Yeah. Their game, that Kansas' team, when Syracuse won the national title with Carmelo, that game was on. I think
yes, that game was
Friday night might have been. And man, you got Heinrich and you have Collison who like walked into the NBA and were good. I mean, role players, nonetheless, good players right away. And even Syracuse, obviously Carmelo was just fantastic. You had McNamara who had like 6 threes in the first half.
Yeah.
Or it's like you can literally see him figuring it out on the floor, even though it's the national title game. It's like you gotta be so good at whatever level you go to. You just gotta be so good.
Mondre, do you think in Carmelo's role at Syracuse, he ever told his coach Boeheim that he didn't want to go down low?
I don't. So, and I brought that up for a reason because
like a better player that he could go down low and work his game outside and hit the 3 too.
Bro, that's becoming a thing now because I feel like guys don't want to rebound the basketball or they don't want to block out or whatever, that they just say that I want to be a 3. Like you still have to rebound, bro.
So guess what? I'm gonna give y'all something. We've talked about Devin Vastille, a Georgia guy from Peachtree Ridge on this podcast. He's at Florida State. He declared for the draft. I think Bryce, you were on the MCA of Georgia virtual clinic with us when Steve Smith was talking about rebounding. Guess who led Florida? Oh, you missed out. Guess who led Florida State in rebound this year?
Yeah.
Devin Vastille.
He did. Yeah.
And guess what he's going to be this year? First rounder.
A pro.
First rounder. So all of you guys talking about you don't want to play, you want to play the wing just because you don't want to rebound the basketball and defend the rim. It's crazy to me. Yeah, Melo.
The main thing that I did with like Terrell Ard, because in his high school career, he always played the 4 and 5 because he was the biggest kid. So when he came to us, he was always like, well, I want to play the 3. I want to play the wing. And I said, okay, that's fine. But if you have a mismatch down low, you still need to try to use that
For sure.
your advantage and get a bucket or get a rebound, because then he could step out and hit the 3 or whatever, handle the ball. It just made him look like a more versatile player. So a lot of kids don't realize that if you have that mismatch, that somebody's going to get you, because you have that, it's about mismatches. So
Coach Evans,
coaches want an easier life. Just a hint.
Right.
They want an easier life.
I mean, it's so weird because it's almost like when I was growing up, we always wanted to act like we were playing down low. We wanted to be the big man and stuff like that. And now it's like kids they want to act like they're Steph Curry and shooting from half court. Everything has changed. It's like, shoot, I wish I was 6'8" so I could go down low.
I think they don't see traditional big men anymore, though.
They don't.
Giannis, you got him getting the rebound, pushing it.
Yeah.
1 or 2 dribbles. So, that's what they see. They don't see nobody. Who can we name a traditional big in the NBA right now?
Hey,
his cousins.
So I'm gonna tell you, I think the issue is because you got too many kids or players. I can't even say kids because there's a lot of adults that fit the same description that are playing in the NBA that can't turn over their left shoulder, or turn over their right shoulder and get a bucket. Like I was watching.
Mudry, I'm finna stop you. It ain't the kids. Trainers don't teach that. Trainers do not teach that. It's just plain and simple. What trainer good shots?
It's not rewarding.
Right hand over left hand shoulder. What trainers are teaching that? They keep it a book.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think the math of it all has sort of crept to every level. And so everybody tries to, mimic essentially what's happening at the highest levels, of course.
Yep.
But it's a different game. I mean, the NBA game, it has different rules. It has different lines. I mean, it's
different spacing.
Yeah, it's a totally different game. And so I think it's obviously there's not a lot of people that exist, for one. You know what I mean? There's just not a lot of big human beings. And it's really difficult because a 16-year-old big kid, more than not, who is 6'10", is further behind naturally.
Yeah.
16-year-old kid who's 6'3". It's just, for whatever reason, it's just a developmental thing, and it's really difficult to teach. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm not sure it's ever going to go back the other way, to be honest with you.
No,
I don't think it is. And I don't necessarily know. Like I was watching Kansas and Oklahoma. So it was Danny Manning versus like Stacey King and Harvey Grant. And I just watched how many times, and they're playing it no commercial breaks, not edited. They're just playing the full game because I mean we don't have anything else to do. It's 3:00 in the morning. It's 3:00 in the morning. My sleep schedule is completely shot, by the way. So
it's Groundhog Day. That's what I call it. It's Groundhog Day. I wake up and I go, oh, same thing over again. Let's get it.
Same thing over again. So I'm watching CBS Network at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And I'm just counting how many times Stacey King gets the ball on the right block, turns toward the baseline and shoots a little hook over Danny Manning, and it kisses in off the like he never missed that shot. I don't think we have guys that can turn over left shoulder, right shoulder, and like never miss. Like Danny Manning wasn't missing.
Like Bundre, I go back. I think about what you're saying, and I go back. I always use my Atlanta ties, and I remember when the Hawks got Moses Malone, late in his career, but they still had Kevin Willis, and Dominique would go to the post some too, and they didn't have enough movement to get somebody else off the post, and it just didn't work. Like it was.
Hey, does Kevin Willis have the shortest arms? Shortest
biggest arms.
He's still huge,
he'll still post you up right now.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's still a big dude. I ain't playing around with Kevin Willis.
Coach Evans, I got a question for you. So Bryce was talking about what position, like Terrell R. He was a 4 in high school, you know, possibly going to the next level to be a hybrid 4-3. I'm one of the person that believes that you are what you can guard at the next level.
Yep.
Do you believe that, or is there something different?
I mean, I think that's largely true nowadays because you have so many people. I mean, people don't run offenses very often with a traditional 4. You know what I mean? People aren't even asking someone who might be considered a front court 4 as a high schooler. When he gets to college, he's still asked more often than not to be offensively, to be a guy who can play on the arc and handle it. And yeah, he may ball screen and he may roll some and pop some, but like, it's not like you don't see many, you know, 2-post type of stuff. And even people run 2-post stuff, they need one of those guys to be able to pass it and find and facilitate in space when he does step out. But I think you're exactly right. Like if you can't guard, honestly, if you can't guard multiple positions anymore,
You're in trouble.
you better be so good at something or whatever you do that it's like, yeah, we're going to plug that guy into that position and we just know it. Like he's so good at whatever he does that we got to do it. But if you're trying to like catch on, you're trying to be a role guy, you're a more fringe, you know, kind of player at whatever level you may go to. Most kids are, to be honest with you, when it comes down to it. The more you can guard and the smarter you can play, you become incredibly valuable. Because the other element to all this, whatever the position is, you may be able to play multiple spots, but now you got to know multiple spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You now
Basketball IQ. You
got to know what you're doing defensively in every scenario. You got to know, and that comes, I think, more offensively. You know, you got to know, hey, when we're running this action, if I'm at this spot, I got to know all those. And I think that's why really at our level especially, and I think this is probably true all over the country, like those dynamic 4-men that can do a little bit of everything, it's like a queen on the chessboard.
Right.
All of a sudden you can play that guy at the 5 if he's big enough. You can play that guy at the 3 and he does it all well enough. And you've all of a sudden got 30 minutes of high quality play across multiple positions. And it allows you as much flexibility as you can have with your substitutions, with your just sort of patterns of how you play people. And not to mention at the college, like you can recruit differently then. It's like, hey, we got this guy. Like we know that as long as we find good players, he's going to be able to find a place and we're going to be able to plug him in. But it's just rare everywhere. You know what I mean? Just that kind of flexibility mentally.
Yeah. I think as high school coaches and AAU coaches, we often have to deal with players and sometimes parents who want their point guard to be a scoring point guard because they think that's going to get them to the next level faster, you know, or more attention or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
At your level and, you know, and above or wherever, how do you guys like evaluate point guards? Because people think that if I'm just a facilitator, I can't get to college.
I mean, I think we see so many guys that people would term a scoring guard.
Right.
That sort of description, I think, ends up getting thrown around for almost any 1-2 combo. You know what I mean? And it's like everybody wants to call themselves a combo, which is there's value. But I think most people are still looking and still trying to find, not that you can't work otherwise. Like we're trying to find pure point guards.
Right.
Like it's nice. It is, your team can run better when you have a guy that's not that he still needs to be able to score. And so it's that can get misconstrued. You know, we've got guys, there's good players at the high school level who can't really score at all, but they do everything else well. And it's like, that's great. But like, or all, then they can play that as well. It's really about finding guys that are capable of shooting it, capable of running the team, and understand how to plug themselves in and always provide what the team needs. And that's what a pure point guard ultimately is. Like that guy be able to score 25 for you. Like he has that ability, but he also knows that if he doesn't need to score 25, he's comfortable scoring 12 and setting up 2 other guys on the wing to get their 18 each. And now they feel good. And he's passing it to guys at the right time, because there's this element that people just dribble the ball a lot. It's just the way we do it nowadays. And it's not bad if you also know when and how to move it. You know what I mean? If you're dribbling it productively and in the right spots, that's wonderful. But it's when you find guys, and this happens all the time, right? Guys are why is he taking 4 dribbles when 1 dribble would have been? Why is he taking 10 dribbles when 0 dribbles is what he needed to do?
Talk your talk, coach.
And that's hard. That's experience. That's all these different things. And it's how you play, and there's all these factors that go into it. But figuring that out, I think, is an important thing. And sometimes a guy has it or he doesn't.
Right. It's a hard concept to teach high school kids and to see that that's the way that the game is supposed to be played. And also that the people who are scouting and watching and looking at you, that's what they're looking for. Like these people they know if you can play the game the right way. So you can't do all that extraness and think that you're going to get to that level. That's something that we have to really deal with in high school, especially here. I see it all the time, and I see bad basketball just being honest. I see that all the time. And it's just like, why aren't you guys teaching them how to outlet? Why aren't you guys teaching them how to hit ahead and get into their offense and then get to the, things like that we just struggle with. So I just wanted to kind of get some clarity because I know I hear it all the time. Well, so-and-so, he didn't have 30 points. So I think it's just a confusion about how, you can get to the next level as a point guard, especially if you're smaller too.
Yeah. Being small, it's a hard time to be small in basketball.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's hard. You know what I mean? It's just a weird evaluation. We play an entire season, right? And you see how big and athletic and physical everybody is. And then you go to a high school game and the kid's 17 years old. Of course, he's not going to be everything.
Right.
If he was everything, he would be recruited by the A10. You know what I mean? But it's when you're small, it's you got to just you have to be able to understand it. And as players, you got to understand, like, if I'm this big, like, what do I need to do? And the reality is, you got to do everything.
I mean, I think I've seen probably one of the better, smaller guards in years in AJ White, and with his size and being able to facilitate as well as score the ball and stuff like that. So, but he's like one of a kind. Right. A lot of people just at his size, they just can't do it. So.
I'm one of those people that says, when I ask a question, is he a point guard or can he bring the ball up the court? Because anybody can bring the ball up the court, but a point guard can set everybody else up, run the offense, score when need to, all those kind of things. So
and being that in the situation we are in and we can't play right now, I've also seen a lot of kids who say they're point guards, but their film doesn't match point guard.
There we go. There we go.
It's like, well, we can't, we can send it to a college coach and tell him you're a point guard, and he can probably change your position or change your philosophy, your thinking, whatever. But your film in the past says I shoot the ball 1,000,000 times. So
and I dribble the ball 87 times per possession.
Your film doesn't say point guard. Your film just says I want to do.
So let's get into this though. Since Bryce has talked about this, Coach Evans, what do you prefer when it comes to evaluating a player? Would you prefer to see them at a camp, at a high school game, or at AAU, or some combination of the three?
I mean, honestly, I'd like to see him in as many environments as I can, because it just gives you the depth of knowledge about, playing for a camp team. It can be really challenging for some guys. Some guys are used to structure and used to, what their high school coach wants them to do, and they're better suited to do that. But I do think really good players really good players, even in a camp setting, it's like he's still really good. I just like to see them in all because I like to see how they respond and how they interact. Are they someone who's kind of an alpha? Are they someone who can get along with different people? Are they someone who can carry over instruction? You know, if Bryce is their AAU coach, can they do what he wants? And if that's different and Coach Huff wants them to do something that's a little bit different, can they handle that? And then if, you know, I'm their camp station coach, can they then do what I'm asking them to do in that drill? I think seeing those things can be illuminating. And the other part of it is like just seeing how they get along with people. You know, it's we all are involved in a wonderful sport, you know, a sport that requires you to be able to deal with people from all sorts of backgrounds, from all sorts of places. And you know, you can't just be on the same team as them. Like you have to be able to synchronize yourself to them. We don't have position groups. We don't have, hey, I'm an O lineman, you're a D lineman. Like we may be totally different. We may hate each other, but it doesn't matter because we're playing totally different things. Like you got to be able to be on the floor with 4 other people, and whatever backgrounds they're from, whatever socioeconomic status they come from, whatever race they are, like you got to play together, and you got to be able to handle that. And I think when you see them in all 3 of those, you get a taste of what they can and can't handle, what they're okay with and uncomfortable with. I think from a pure skill standpoint, the more you, to a certain degree, the more you see them, the better off, and the more diverse environments you see them, the better off you're going to be. But none are perfect. I mean, let's call it what it is. None are perfect. I mean, again, your high school coach may ask you to do something that's totally different than what we may ask you to do. It doesn't mean you can or can't do it. It just means that we may not be able to see in that moment things that we may want you to do. And, you know, that's no one's fault. That's not a problem. It's just the reality of going to watch basketball. That's a non-answer. That's what we call a non-answer, all of them.
Coach, is it difficult to evaluate quiet kids? You talked about kids who are alpha, so kids that are going to be really assertive and assert themselves. What about kids that are more laid back? Are those kids more difficult to evaluate at times?
I don't know if they're more difficult to evaluate from a basketball standpoint, but I think there are certainly kids that need to have that comfort of the day-to-day for their leadership to come out. I mean, there's some kids that they're just, I mean, when I was 17, like when I was 20, I was probably insecure, right? Like you're insecure, like you got to be comfortable in an environment, and not everybody can just step in and be like, man, I'm going to take over this group in this camp setting. But with their high school team and their AAU team, they're tremendous leaders because they know what's expected of them. They're comfortable with that, and they can bring that to people. So I do think that there are gray areas for people that, you know, we do our best to sort of acknowledge and find the answer to that. The one thing I'd say is, like, if you don't go hard, it doesn't matter what setting you're in. The kid's not trying. Or not paying attention. He ain't gonna pay attention to me either. Like, you know what I mean? It's just the reality. You know, if they're not guys that lack that kind of that desire to like get better, desire to like absorb what they can. It's not they're gonna be able to be great at everything, but absorb what they can and go hard in that setting. Like, I can't give that to them. None of you can give that to them. That is you may grow into it. You may be different at 22 than 18. You probably will be to some degree. But if you start with a low motor, what's there that old, I think it's like Bill Parcells or somebody. It's like, if the puppy don't bite, the grown dog ain't going to bite. Like, you know, it's just kind of.
Hey. I love that. The puppy don't bite, the grown dog ain't gonna bite neither. I like that. So let me ask this, Coach. Would you rather have a kid that plays too fast or one that plays too slow? If you had one problem to correct, which one would you rather correct?
I mean, I think if you play too slow, it depends the reason you're playing slow. If you can't move fast enough, that's a problem.
Who would be an example of playing too fast? Like, give me like a player.
I think too fast you can handle in the sense that at least mentally like they're able to play at a pace. Now, with film, you're gonna have to slow some things down for them. Perhaps you're gonna have to give them more definition so that they can play that speed, but make the decisions you want them to make. I think so. There's a lot. It's a lot bigger box to open up, perhaps.
I was more so talking about a kid. I don't think I want to call that kid out, but in my head, I'm thinking about a kid that made like.
What's the problem?
You do it all the other times. Why you gonna do it now?
My connection's getting spotty over here.
I'm just saying, would you rather have a kid that sometimes could be out of control, maybe head down a little bit too much, maybe over dribbles a little too much, over penetrates a little too much? I'm asking in general. No, I'm asking in general.
Don't let them bait you. Don't let them bait you.
To have that problem, or a kid that is a little too dependent on their system, that has chances to attack, but just will give you a ball reversal instead. A kid that you have to encourage to look for opportunities more. Which pattern would you rather have to kind of deal with?
I mean, I think aggression and motor.
They telling me head down's a bad player. I don't disagree, but everybody has their own likes.
Aggression usually wins out, in almost all aspects of life. You know what I mean? Like aggressive people, within reason, of course, successful people tend to be pretty aggressive. So I would probably lean towards someone with a motor and aggression than someone who I felt like was timid. But I think there's a lot more that would go into that sort of analogy for me to be much more definitive, truthfully.
Coach Evans saying, I want dogs that bite. And no other, I don't want no dog that just run to the fence and bark. No, man, jump that gate.
Hey, what was that football coach that said, I don't need no cats. Meow. I need dogs.
Gotta have dogs that bite, man. Coach, let me ask you this. What is the next step that you feel like your club has to take to improve for next season? If you had to boil it down to one thing, what's the one thing that you guys have to get better at?
Oh man, I honestly wish I could boil it down to one. But, I think we will be better in certain elements because we just have a year of experience. So I think a lot of, we played, KJ was the freshman of the year. Bailey Minor was a freshman who started every game. Darnell Snyers was a freshman who started many games. I don't know the exact number. Mikhail Bethea played a little bit on and off, had a little toe issue, another freshman. We played 2 other sophomores. So it's like we're going to experience some improvement with age and experience because all those guys I think are going to work as well. I think we just I don't know if I could boil it down, so I'm gonna give a more broad answer, but we just have to get more comfortable with guarding physically and rebounding physically consistently, possession by possession, and using that to get ourselves out into transition. I thought we were up and down transition team this year. We weren't a great finishing team all the time. Again, we were a little bit small at times, so we had some issues. But I think if we can get a little more consistent defensively, we'll have a little bit more transition opportunity. And I think we'll make our life just a hair bit easier in a few more circumstances that can sustain us. It's such a fine line. You're talking about when you come to the end of it, like you're talking 1 possession, 2 possessions that essentially decide whether you win or lose. And, if all of a sudden you're just incrementally better in every possession, there's just huge development that can be possible there. But it's hard. You got to work every day. You know what I mean? It's like that old Al Pacino, what is it? Any Given Sunday, right? When he gives that big speech and it's the inches in front of you or whatever he says, like I know that's Hollywood, but a lot of that's true. You know, it's right in front of your face every moment. You know, are you going to be in the gym right now? I mean, you're going to find a way to an outdoor court right now. I mean, everybody in the country, right? We're all locked up somewhere. You can go outside. Are you willing to go in your garage and handle the rock a little bit? Are you willing to ride your bike or whatever, drive your car to the park and shoot? Are you willing to do that stuff? I mean, are you willing to take a virtual training session, perhaps like in this kind of environment and do it, you know, and the good players will, the players that improve will, but a lot of people, right? We all struggle with that commitment. We all struggle with that like self-improvement and that staying into it even when it's hard, you know, like who's going to do it? And that's where those little inches are going to come from when it comes down to it. Each guy, each individual, each program's ability to stay with it day to day.
What are when it comes to that, coach, like what are things I'm assuming things are looking for you the same way they're looking for the rest of us. Like everybody's locked out of the gym right now and like out of out of touch right now. I know that that the president just had a meeting with, I think, the head of all the major league sports teams. So NBA, MLB, NASCAR, NFL, all of those guys to determine when sports would come back, essentially. No one from the NCAA at that meeting. I don't necessarily know that there had to be somebody from the NCAA at that meeting. I'm assuming that college sports will probably take their cue from professional sports. But any indications, any ideas about, you know, has first day of practice officially changed for you guys? Have there been any postponements, any news from a college standpoint of when we may come back?
No, I mean we're dead. We're dead till May 31st, recruiting on and off campus, and I don't necessarily know. You know, we're not allowed to be with our guys once we get a week before final, so we have certain limitations that come with that. You know, our ability to do anything with our players obviously is limited right now, and so I don't have really any insight, and I obviously we're all kind of caught right in a weird spot.
Sure.
We all value all these sports, right? You know, we value football and March Madness and the NBA playoffs and all this stuff. And it's like, I think everybody just needs to stay positive and take a deep breath and probably not read the tea leaves too aggressively, you know, because what we say today, by the end of the week,
could be different.
You know what I mean? And so I think you're seeing that, you know, there's a lot of sources and a lot of, well, people are saying this. It's like, I don't know if normalcy is going to be here anytime soon. But I also know that it could be a month from now and the whole world is different and better and better. Yep. And so I'm trying not to waste too much energy on anything other than, you know, trying to make sure my family, staff, our players have their minds in place and are all optimistic and confident that we're going to be okay in the long run here. And this stuff's going to get handled in the long run. And just to keep that positive mindset and use the time for all the things that, you know, you don't always have time for. You know, I got to be outside with my kids today. It's a beautiful day for what felt like, you know, 5 straight hours. It was awesome. You know what I mean? It was awesome. And, you know, normally on a spring Saturday or Sunday, I'm in a gym. I'm at Lake Point. I'm at McEachern. I'm at the Final Four. Obviously, would have been this weekend. You know, which is
Final Four this weekend.
I know, right?
You know, like, it's great to be with my kids too. You know,
I agree, Coach. It's good to spend some time. Like even me personally, like me and my son, this would be AAU time. Not a lot of time for shots in the driveway and just talking and you know, that sort of things. That's been good, but I do want to get back in the gym. But so for you guys specifically, right, with no April live period, what has that impact been like for you guys? You know, is it something that you just said, hey, you know, these are the cards that we kind of been dealt. We'll try to pick it up when things get back. or are you guys kind of game planning possibly? I feel like July is going to be like a feeding frenzy if things come back. What are your guys' thoughts about how you plan to handle recruiting or anything like that if we do get June live period or any type of June live or July live period?
We're still trying to finish up 2020, so it's like, I mean, I feel I don't even know if beyond the normal sort of focus on the next class and gathering information and understanding who some people are, if for us that's really even hit us yet. The April periods are really introductory for us because we still need a couple guys probably for next year. And so I think that has been we feel that impact much more than I think we've even really thought about April or June or even July. But it is unique to think about even what might come of this summer. It's a real possibility. I would assume, given the climate of everything, that there isn't a summer. I think I'm really, really, really hopeful and would love to have stuff at the end of June so I can go to the GHSA team events again because it was awesome. But I mean, who's going to be the first organization, the first group, the first whatever to say, no, it's okay to have thousands of people in a place?
Yeah.
Who's going to be that first person? I don't know. I mean, it's probably not going to be the University System of Georgia. Probably not going to be, and nor should they be, I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like there's this trickle down that I don't know where it starts. I just hope that we wake up tomorrow morning or 2 mornings from now or a week from now, and all the reports from doctors and people that know what they're talking about are, hey, people are doing a good job. They're paying attention to what they're supposed to pay attention to. And we're getting closer. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer. And someday we'll be like, okay, great. NFL football is normal. I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever that threshold is. And we'll hopefully all have learned from this, and hopefully all can appreciate all these little things that we have the freedom to do in our country and the ability to do daily that have now been kind of taken from us. And we can, be better to each other, have more love of each other, more respect, more appreciation of all the things that we're allowed to do. Even if our country's not perfect, and it isn't, we got it pretty good in the grand scheme of things.
I know I didn't realize how much my face itched until COVID-19. Once that, man, my face itches a lot, bro. I'll be ready to scratch my face a lot.
Do you count how many times you cough?
I count how many times I cough around people because I feel like I'm gonna get stoned. There he is. Get him.
You don't even say bless you no more. You just look at them crazy.
Right.
Just give them that look hold up now.
Right.
You run the other way now when people sneeze. It's like,
no, hey,
I'm trying to help you, man. Now it's like, I got my mask on.
We're gonna have to, if we come back and play, it'll be a situation where we go immediately to the restroom and wash our hands after we play the game. It's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be different.
Don't shake anybody's hand. Go wash your hands right now.
That's
what?
So Coach, we'll get ready to wind down. We're gonna take a couple of questions, man. It looks like we got some questions out from our viewing audience. So
Big Dave.
Let's say Big Dave out here. If it looks like if a recruit sends you video footage, how many games do you watch of the prospect before you offer? Do you offer just off a tape, Coach, or is it something that you got to see the player in person, or how many games do you want to watch before you generally offer?
I think generally I would watch a highlight, use that as a means to go see him live. What we're in now is created all sorts of different sort of processes, but in general, I like to use a highlight to give me a sense of what I might see and get a feel for what you would think, right, is their best stuff. and then use that as a means to go watch them live in whatever setting I can. But it's pretty rare for me to, and I'm very much a relationship guy. You know, I'm very much a like, come on campus. If we're going to offer, I honestly want to offer in person. You know, I want to see you. I want, honestly, to have been able to evaluate who you are in that setting. You know, how do you treat mom and dad? How do you interact? Like, do you look people in the eye? Like, just these little things that, okay, you know, if we're going to extend a significant or serious invitation to our program, I don't take that lightly. And so it's pretty rare for me to offer before someone comes to campus, even, to be truthful. But I would watch highlight in a normal scenario, highlight to then go see them in person and then get them on campus and kind of dig in from there.
Now, Coach, when you're watching a highlight, do you stay more engaged when you like the music of the highlights? I have heard coaches say, I didn't like the player, but I like the beat.
That's a good question. I can't do, and I'm not a prude or anything, but I can't do when someone's got like songs and music that's like, you probably don't want to just send out to everybody. Just turn it off for me. That I can't do. I would say I honestly mute it usually. I try to hear what the music is. If I like it, I'll keep it on. If it's, you know, hurting my ears, I'll just hit mute and I'll watch it. So I'm not sure it's a major break for me.
I love it. Coach, I definitely appreciate you giving us the time, my man. Really fun. A lot of fun. We'll be pulling for you guys next year. We're gonna call it right now. One of the best backcourts in Peach Belt.
Let's go.
Next year. We're calling it right now.
Hey,
we're calling it right now.
Coach leave, hey, how do you like the cooking, the food in Georgia?
I love it. I honestly, I know this, you know, I'm gonna get laughed at here, but that's okay. I'd never had a grit till I got down here.
Oh wow! Oh
I'm telling you, it's a staple now. I mean, shrimp and grits, I love
You
the
like sweet tea?
great biscuits up here. I just, you know, it's been awesome, honestly, to be in a new place and you know, learn so much, obviously, but also just to be in the environment. It is. I'm a pretty optimistic person in the grand scheme of things, but it just reaffirms my faith in humanity that there are good people who want the right things all over the country. And even though, you know, we all talk different, look different, all these different factors that separate us as Americans and as human beings, but there are good people everywhere, you know, and
Sure.
That's I've moved around a little bit in my adult life, and that's one thing I've come to appreciate is that, you know, I lived in Denver, people were really nice there, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, and down here, and it's like there's really good people, you know, and if you surround yourself with good people, odds are you're gonna have a pretty darn good life and be able to appreciate things. So I appreciate you guys letting me be on here. I've you know, you guys are an intimidating crew, you know what I mean? It's like to make sure, you know, I keep it G-rated as best I can. But thanks for letting me be here.
Appreciate you, Coach.
We appreciate you, Coach, man. Thank you, man. We definitely appreciate you for hanging out with us.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Good night, Coach. Coach Dan Evans.
Insightful. I'll just say
very
that.
insightful, man.
Very insightful.
I liked it, man. Yeah, I agree. I think they're building something great at University of North Georgia, man. You can't always look at somebody's record immediately and say, you know, what they are, right? Like if you look at his path, Coach Evans, like his path was, I got hired late. We really like he's going into his second year and still hasn't had a full recruiting cycle yet.
Right.
Exactly.
COVID-19 just took away his recruiting cycle. So it may be another 3 years before we even really know, right, like what his stamp is going to be on that program up in North Georgia. But
well, the fact that he got Ryan Landers is he's
yo, they are going to get busy.
That's a great backcourt.
That's a huge get, man.
Hey man, I guess a lot of people didn't have grits till they moved down here, man.
Oh man, I should have asked him, do he like cheese on his grits though? I can't believe I missed that question. I'm not doing good. I'm supposed to be better than that.
Surprised you didn't ask him about the food, Mondre.
I mean, you know,
is that a shot?
It is. But I mean, I'm gonna take that. But I probably should have asked that question. I got to know if he likes cheese on his grits, because I don't think you real if you put cheese on your grits though. I may be going against the grain, but I don't think you real if you put cheese on your grits. You gonna eat them without the cheese if you real.
I ain't real because I need that cheese.
So hey man, we could tease the show for next week, man. Next week we got CY.
CY back in the house.
CY back in the house next week. Next Thursday, 8 o'clock. Tune in, the Gorilla. CY Chief back in the house. Man, how y'all feeling, man? Are y'all tired yet? These 2 shows a week, man. Are y'all all right?
Good, man.
Tired. We ain't doing nothing.
Sleep is all messed up. Other than that, yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Nah, my sleep is shot, bro. It's over with. It's
told y'all this Groundhog Day. You wake up, you don't know what day it is. You're like, oh, what am I doing?
I'm still going to work. I got work in the morning.
Oh man.
Wait, you still going into the office lot? You're going into the office?
Yeah, the company I work with partner with the government. So, I'm in the IT, so I still have to come. I still have to go.
I forget.
Yeah, I got a letter and everything. I got the whole shebang.
Hey, do you wear a mask? You wear a mask at work?
You see my Instagram videos?
No, I see it.
I thought one of them he had a mask on.
Hey, this is. I don't think. I think normal is gonna be different after all of this. I think
so too.
No more that.
Yeah, man. Like, how do you build that camaraderie as a team? Like, if you can't, I always talk to my team in practice about leading the team in touches. And I got that from one of y'all. I can't remember who told me that, but we've been going with that for like months now. Like, be the guy that walks in the gym and leads the team in high fives or touches or pats on the back or whatever, just to get that energy up and have everybody feeling good in the gym. Like, how do you pass that positive energy now if we can't have five, man?
I mean, right now, like, we're just like my assistant, Coach Mays, we were just talking about trying to get together again with our team via Zoom, man. So it's tough. Zoom it's the best avenue you have right now, but it's not the perfect. Like, I would like to have my guys in the gym working out, like, so we get better and
get a sweat, playing music, just that vibe. I feel like helps.
So on the flip side, for me as a high school coach, I got to do more work. Not saying I wasn't doing it anyway, but you got to do more work to make sure you got videos and stuff for your kids, man. So you can put stuff out so college coaches can see it,
Yeah, I had recommended for a kid to buy a goal.
Yeah,
and it was like, dude, it could just be you and your goal right in front of your house.
Put up shots.
Yeah, just put up shots. Stay in rhythm.
Hey, my boys is gonna be playing 21, bro. It's gonna be a lot of 21 games out front of that driveway.
I mean, honestly, in any way, that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? Like, kids should be getting it in the driveway, regardless. Even if you're in the situation, you should be in the driveway. Like,
it's so easy to get into the gyms now. So you think putting up?
Yeah, it is. But the thing about playing outside and playing in your driveway, playing in your playground, you get a different type of. It builds a different type of character, a different type of toughness.
Because it's grass on both sides of that driveway. I push you down.
I get it. But
even if you playing outside and playing pickup and you running everybody off the floor, Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's different. So
I mean, I was telling somebody today. I know we are a basketball show, but I remember when I was growing up on my street, we played sideline stick'em. You know, no pass. So that you catch that ball.
That? Oh, football out pass.
You catch the football on the curb in the grass, you can hit, bro.
Oh yeah, we call it throw them up, bust them up.
Hey, we used to play in the street with cars parked on both sides, bro.
Yeah.
Hey man,
you had to have a good quarterback, man.
Hey,
this is my mama calling me right now. Hold on.
You know what paid off right now though? What is going on? Hey, FaceTime dating. I love it.
Oh, here we go.
Hey,
That on Instagram?
no, FaceTime dating.
Bryce ain't with it. He ain't got nobody. He got a face.
Bryce doing FaceTime dating?
No, Lock here.
Locke is doing FaceTime dating. Hey boy, Locke, where there's a will, there's a way, my guy. Never give up, Locke. Keep the hope going for all of us, bro.
Hey, man, you go on 5 dates in one day.
Hey, and they all free, ain't they? What you
And they
want to
all
the
free.
refrigerator, girl? What you want to eat, girl? Like you like pulling out grapes?
Grapes and wine.
I put on a collar shirt.
Lock, what shirt you rocking today, Lock? That look like a cap shirt.
That my boy Chris, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured that was a Chris Watkins shirt right there.
So if there is basketball and stuff clears up, how are all the camps going to? What's going to happen with the camps? You think they're going to move into the fall? You know, or like how's that work? Because you know it's always been a lineup. Like you knew this weekend was
gonna be whenever basketball starts back, it's whatever camp schedule it is. So if it's in the fall, you're gonna have the On the Radars, the Southern Hoops Reports, the Freshman U, the Corey Blacks. You got Late Point has an event. I'm pretty sure.
Not the Lock. Not if July gets canceled and they push July to September.
Okay, yeah, that's a different story.
So you're saying it would be in the same order that it's always in?
I don't.
If July doesn't happen,
here's the best case scenario. What I heard or could happen.
Will AAU teams retry out?
Hold on.
This is a big gap between.
Hold on, Dre. What I'm hearing is that we may not get June. I think June may be out of the question.
I think it's a
what do you mean we? You mean we as in high school? Or we as in
college coaches? I mean, June was not just the they were coming to watch those camps,
those team camps.
So if you miss that, they're going to push that to September, maybe, possibly. So and if you do that, you keep the July period open. Maybe add another weekend in July. Maybe. I mean,
I think 3 weeks of July, 3 weeks of live period in July.
They might not give you 3 because what they're gonna say is they're gonna give you 2, and they're gonna have the high school stuff in September.
Hey, Huff not gonna answer this, man. But Coach, how many coaches, high school coaches, are missing all that early practice that they be having in May?
Huh? What? You're not, but you know what? But you know what? You really not. I'll take up for high school coaches. They probably not getting early practice. You know why? Because 2 of the days the AAU kids are gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. You know,
and then I mean, you know, your season doesn't start until October. So I mean, what do you kind of?
You're doing a lot more. Most coaches
are
doing skill development. Lots of shots, trying to get a kid better. They're invite colleges are coming. If you got 2020s, trying to see your kids.
Mondre, when you
no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Hold on, bro. Hey, Huff trying me right now. No, they're not. Talking about their high school coaches are focused on skill development and getting.
Man, nobody's putting their whole.
They running sets in. They running sets in May, coach. They are not. No, they're not. Stop it. Stop it. They're trying to get ready so they can be good at the camps in June when they go to Kennesaw State and they go to camp. They're trying to how they sets in, man. Come on.
Mondre, when you see high school coaches at AAU live period events and AAU events in general watching, what does that mean to you as far as philosophy and like what does that mean?
I love those coaches. I want to see more high school coaches at AAU events. Number one, first and foremost, support the players that are in your program at all levels. Support your eighth graders that are playing AAU. Like, why would they want to come to your school if you did not go watch them play during their feeder schedule and you're not there in the summertime for AAU? If you're not there in April, why would they want to come to you in May or June versus the other coach that they see out there supporting their kids? So I love those guys that are at AAU games. So many people are worried about coaches recruiting and all this other kind of stuff. It's just crazy to me, where it's hard for coaches just to be in the gym without being accused of something. But I love that from a philosophy standpoint. I love seeing high school coaches in the gym. From the other standpoint, like Coach Evans was saying, it's about relationships. It's about having a relationship. So there are high school coaches that could watch, and I'll just speak for my organization. If you're a high school coach and we have a relationship and you come and watch Georgia Man Up play, like when we walk off the floor, like tell me what we're doing wrong. Like, it's for the kid to get better, coach. So if you have some feedback for me as a coach to say, hey man, when y'all come out of this timeout, like here's some options that you can, things that you can run, or man, hey, that's sideline out of bounds. That's rough. Like, here's what you could do. You know what I mean? Like, we want to get better as coaches because we want to. I feel like our job as AAU coaches is to better prepare those kids for you guys at the varsity level, and also to have them ready. Right? I'm a 15U coach, so Bryce, my job is to have them ready to put on display for you guys at 17U. So, like, I love high school coaches coming to watch us play and giving feedback on what we can or what we are doing well, what we aren't doing so well. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, it's supposed to be us working together, for the betterment of the kid. So I love it. Even when it's critiques or criticism, like, I'm cool. So if y'all see us out and we look like trash, like, say it. Help us fix it. Don't let us don't sit there and watch us and be like, hey man, Dre suck. Like nah, man. Come have a conversation, man. Help us fix it. So
well, I made sure I put you aside, Dre.
Hey, Lock, you one of the only people that DeJuan listen to. So I don't know how, but you one of the few people that DeJuan like. You can coach her better than I can. I don't know how many times I done heard him say, Locke said, I got to learn how to play with pace. Nigga, if you don't run, use that excuse when you playing slow. You better run.
Oh, man.
So, Bryce, all of your kids committed during the press conference? Is there a link that I can go back and watch the press conference?
Yeah, on Twitter. Go scroll through my time.
Oh man,
it was only one kid.
Hey, it was so funny that he sent it out press conference the first of the week. He said,
I told no. We had a podcast and I said it's gonna be a press conference tomorrow at 10:30. Be there, be square.
I was talking about in the group chats. How many times you said?
Nah, Zacko sent that out. I ain't sent that out. Zacko sent that out.
Wow. Okay. We ain't have no press conference. Maybe I should have one.
You'll see what I mean.
Hey, so Bryce, Locke, if AAU comes back and is held in September, should we be holding another tryout? Or what happens? Like, do you just assume that your same team that you had in March?
You know what they say about assuming. You know what they say about assuming.
My thing is, I don't think you have time.
Nah. But what I will say is, as a kid, if you're playing on the wrong team, you don't have time to switch. There's no, you know what I mean? Like, normally we would have had you'd have maybe, I played in one live period. I didn't play that much. I can maybe switch teams in the middle of the year.
Free agency.
I don't think he's on free agency this year.
Yeah, it's not. So if you're on the wrong team and you're not playing, you've just wasted a whole year of live period. I mean, not wasted because of what, but whatever's going on, and then you're not on the right team, you're not playing. So I wouldn't do another tryout, but because it's not going to be time. But I mean, what I would try to do is just try to get everybody on the same page as fast as I could. And if I happen to get somebody who walked through the door that was capable of playing on the team, and I had a spot, then I might put them on there and add them. But I'm not going to go back and do a whole other trial. I was 4 weeks in already, so that's not going to happen. But I'm just putting it out there that, you know, if you're on the if you think your situation and your team is extremely stacked, and you may not be in that core rotation, being that you've already missed March and April and whatever else, you might want to reconsider playing for a team that's going to put you on the floor and let you play the whole game.
I'm gonna say not only that too, Bryson, and I'll, you know, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but picking the level that you're playing at, not just your amount of playing time, is going to be important too, because you go out there and you can look like just one of the guys, or you can look like, I mean, you can go out there and hold your own, but
a lot of people still have, and no disrespect to anybody, but a lot of people still have a middle school mentality. And the middle school, and I had it too. The middle school mentality is,
He so deep.
Man, I want to win all trophies. I got to be on the most stacked team, blah, 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 etc. You know, I got to be this and that. But really, when you get to 16, 17, and, you know, graduating, the goal is to get to the next level. So the goal is to find a team that allows you to be in that core of players, that allows you to be evaluated by college coaches. So, like, as I'm just saying, like, if you're on a team and you see that first 6 or 7 dudes, they're not coming off the floor and they got offers already, and you don't, you might want to reconsider, because that's your goal. You know what I mean? At that point, and unless you're playing to be winning, you know, a gauntlet, and you just want to say you was on the team, win a gauntlet, or a Peace Jam, you just want to say you was on the team, whatever. Then okay.
You know, I feel like platform is going to be important too, man. Like,
platform is important. It's huge.
Not hating on nobody's stuff, man, but like, if you're a little guard and you're good enough to go play EYBL, you have to consider how many coaches on that Nike circuit are going to look for a guard under 6 foot. You might be better off playing on a different platform. Like, I was talking to AJ White's pop, like AJ White could have easily gone back to EYBL,
and he might have been able to lead a team in the Peace Jam trials.
Facts. But I think him making that move to go independent was a brilliant move, because he's going to play in front of more coaches that are looking for what he does.
Right. People don't look at it like that, though. And they think it's I gotta play against the best, I gotta go against the best, I gotta follow the best. Nah, bro, you gotta create your own lane. You gotta create your own lane, and people will find you and evaluate you. But if you ain't playing,
and
it don't matter.
He's gonna be big time. He's still gonna get a great offer. He's still gonna like go to like
he's gonna go where he's supposed to go.
For sure. Man, we can wrap him up, man. We got CY coming on Thursday. Love It Game is gonna be coming every Thursday and every Sunday night, man. We're gonna crank them out.
Coaches, I definitely got to shout out the MCA events this week. Wednesday and Thursday, 12 noon, both days. On Wednesday, we've got Drew Maddox, head coach of the CPA Lions from Nashville, Tennessee, along with Cudzo Martin, head coach of Missouri. Drew Maddox will be talking about building your culture, intentionally building your culture. And Cudzo Martin is going to be talking about the state of the game on Wednesday. So go on Twitter, sign up. The link is on there. And then on Thursday, we've got assistant coach Persian Williams from Kennesaw State talking about the Amoeba defense. And then we got Chris Kreider, assistant coach from Georgia State, going to have an open dialogue about the recruiting process.
Man,
coaches, you don't
help us connected.
And you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out.
I mean, in the game for a minute, man. Him and C Black.
Hey, shout out to C Black.
Huff, let me borrow your cell phone for a day. Let me see what.
Hey, if you borrow mine, you'll see a lot. It's a lot of coaches in here, man. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help these young coaches. I'm trying to get better. Shoot, like, you know. What else are we gonna do during this time, man?
and coaches, I want to say this, and we talk about Chris Kreider, like I want Kreider on the show, man, like ASAP. We got to reach out to him, man.
Come on.
Like we got to get him on, man. He been showing it. And coaches, like we want you on the show. We doing this every Thursday, every Sunday. Like we want a different guest on the show every week, man. Come holler at us. Slide on us. We may or may not. We may be looking for your number and you may be watching and we don't have your phone number, man. Get in contact with us. High school coaches, AAU directors, college coaches for sure. Man, we want to show love, man. Come be a part. Want to introduce all our listeners to all of our friends. That's it for me, man. Anybody got any party shots? Y'all see anything crazy? Y'all watch anything good on TV as we close?
Ozark, finished that.
You like season 3?
Yeah, season 3 was lit. I'm gonna go back and watch it again.
What'd you say, bro? What'd you say, Lot?
Money Heist on Netflix. I
Oh,
finished it.
you late, man. You late.
I ain't even started it yet.
What?
Finish it, man. That's
a great. It's a good one, ain't it? It's good.
Yeah.
I be having problems with shows from overseas, like the British accents. Like I be having, like that'd be a ball stopper for me.
That's pretty good.
Watch For Life on Hulu.
What? I don't have Hulu, man.
For Life, I got Hulu.
That's 50 cent.
Man, go back and watch The Godfather Harlem on Epics.
Well,
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that.
No username or password, huh? I ain't got no. I can't pay for Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix.
Hey. I got Netflix and I got On Demand from Comcast. Xfinity. That's it.
No doubt. Hey man, y'all brothers be peace, man. We about to get up out of here. It's the Love of the Game podcast. It's our Sunday night episode. We'll see you Thursday with the big homie CY, the gorilla, Florida State assistant coach. CY in the building on Thursday, man. Hey man, y'all be up. Be easy. We out.
All right.